This swatch shows 2 repeats of the 12 stitch chart and instructions that are in our blog post on Mosaic Knitting. We just finished using the dark color, and this was back and forth with row 6 on the right side, or the knit side, and row 7 is on the needles right now, and that was the purl side. So I just finished using the purple, and I want to begin using the tan. So you want to make sure that these 2 yarns twist around each other. You can decide whether to twist them once or twice. I kind of like doing it twice to make sure that there's a little bit of a wrap between every other row. And then I begin. So keeping that purple one out of the way, the instructions on row 8 say to knit 3. So I'm going to knit 1, and I'm not yanking on this. I want to leave a little tiny bit of slack there so that I don't distort my stitches. So 1, 2, 3. And then the next instruction on the chart says to slip 1. And whenever we slip stitches in Mosaic Knitting, we're going to slip purlwise. So slip 1, and then knit 1. And then I'm going to slip 1, knit 1, slip 1, knit 1, slip 1 more, and then I should have 2 stitches left, and I do. So those 2 are going to be knit. I'm going to slip my marker, which tells me that I should be back to the beginning of my repeat, and I'll do that 12 stitch sequence once again. So knit 3, slip 1, knit 1, slip 1, knit 1, slip 1, knit 1, slip 1, and then I should have 2 stitches left, which I do. So we'll knit those. So that's row 8. Now I'm going to turn my work. When I turn it around, you can see that this purple yarn that I'm not using is living over here on the left side, and the yarn I do need, the tan, is here ready to be worked. So now I'm going to purl back. This is row 9. And the instructions for row 9 and all of the wrong side or purl side rows say to purl the stitches that you purled and slip the stitches that you slipped using that same color. So that's what I'm going to do. So what I think is really cool about the wrong side rows that say that is I don't have to refer to my chart or the written instructions. All I do is purl the stitches that are the color of yarn that I'm using, and when the other color shows up, those get slipped purlwise. So there's no reading of the chart or reading of the instructions or counting. It's just a matter of visually seeing that, oh gosh, that's another purl stitch there, and that was 1 repeat done. Slipping my marker, and I'll get to the other end of this row. I should, yes, 3 purl stitches at the end. That got me to the end of row number 9. So now it's time for row 10. Row 10 is a purple row, and so that means I need to pick up this purple yarn, and as I mentioned, I like to wrap these around 1 time. So there they are wrapped. I'll be working with the purple and following the same instructions. They say to knit 2. So I'm going to gently bring this up. I'm not going to pull it tight, because if I pull it really tight, it's going to make that last stitch shrink. And there's no slipping these first stitches in Mosaic Knitting. We want to make sure that we're knitting and purling the first stitch of all of our rows. So There's the first one, here's the second stitch, and now I slip one, knit one, slip one, knit one, slip one, knit one, slip one, knit one, slip one, and the very last stitch is a knit. And then I slip my marker, and I'm going to work that 12 stitch repeat one more time on this section. It says to knit 2, so I'm going to knit 2, and then slip, knit, slip, knit, slip, knit, slip, knit, slip, and then the very last stitch, knit. That completes row 10. And you're starting to see that little pattern show up. Now I'm going to turn my work, and this is a wrong side row or a purl row, which means I'm going to purl all the stitches that are in the color of the yarn that I'm using and slip all of the stitches that are in the other color. So here we go. Purling that first stitch. We're not ever going to slip that edge stitch. Remember, we're just going to always purl or knit it. And the other color yarns get slipped. Again, I don't really have to refer to the chart because I can see the different color of the yarns on my needle. And depending on which version of the chart you're looking at, this wrong side row may not be shown. It might just be a note. And you'll notice that this is the second time I'm slipping these particular stitches. So each time we were working our mosaic knitting, you end up elongating those slipped stitches over 2 more rows of knitting. So that creates a more dense fabric in the final project. And it also starts to change the dimensions of the fabric. You can see how it's sort of scalloping just a little bit. That can be resolved, or is resolved, by blocking, of course, either a little steam block or even more aggressive block. But that is how to do mosaic knitting.